go over to QFail to look at another one of this review. 如果你们想支持我们的话呢，请你们到 QFail 频道，然后记得去订阅哦。Now that we can continue the video, obviously. So people, if you all remember the iPhone that everybody was praising, no, it's not the 6, it's not the 7, it's not the 8, it's not whatever it is. It's probably the 11, and most people will probably go with this 11 right here. So, alright, let's go ahead and get started. Now, first thing first is that this phone, I don't know why my A30s always feel heavier when this phone is the one that's actually heavier. So, if y'all can tell, this thing have a aluminum build from the side. It's got a back plate. I'm sorry, there's fingerprints. Damn, it's everything. Hope this works. Alright, so let's go ahead and start talking about this phone's specs. So this thing, I don't know how many gigs of RAM you have. I mean, I'm probably the worst YouTuber ever, so go ahead and check it out yourself, or maybe I'll just write it down somewhere over here. And it's got the storage option of 64, 128, 256. So guess what my mother got for this phone? I mean, this is not my phone. I do have to return this phone to my mother. It doesn't have a case on it just yet, that's why she didn't take it to work. It's 128 gigabytes. And I mean, it's fine and all until you consider the fact that she don't take much pictures, she don't, I don't know, she just don't store that much things. But either way, if y'all want to go with a phone like the iPhone 11, which doesn't have an expandable memory, please go with the cheapest variant, the 64 gigabytes, if y'all don't use much of a phone. But if yours is based on a contract, maybe the 128 gigabyte is beneficial for you. You can just take advantage of their contracts and everything. So this phone right over here, let's go and talk about the design. So we have a front glass, obviously. We have a rear back glass with the Apple logo in the middle. We have the two cameras that looks like a freaking owl in my opinion. Then we've got the matte finish right here, but no matte finish for the whole rear, which I think is a pretty practical idea. So don't get me wrong, I love matte phones. I love it when the phones are matte. However, if you realize that the iPhone 6, the reason of why it's being slippery is because of its matte finish. Maybe most of you will disagree with me on this, but for me, I personally feel that the matte finish of phones, though it looks nicer, it does makes it sort of easier to slip and fall from your hands. And due to the fact that this is glass, glass is glass, and glass breaks. That's a Jerry Rig Everything reference. This thing, by the way, it costs like what, $589 Singapore dollars, sorry, which is more expensive than the front of 200 plus, I believe. Before I continue with the next points, please do me a favor by subscribing to this channel. I'm trying to reach 100 by the end of this year. So let's go ahead and get started with the next point. Now here's the thing about Apple. If y'all don't know, they, in their whole thing about the ask Apple employee on a phone or something, they will give you a phone, they'll recommend you a phone, sorry, there's an Apple person, to buy. And in this case, yes, I did ask an Apple employee to give me a reason on why I should, I don't like my A30s, I want to change my A30s to an iPhone. So, and then I gave him a bunch of things saying that the size doesn't matter. That's what she said. The screen quality doesn't matter, because the thing about people who have the A30s is either number one, they are very tech savvy, or number two, they want a phone that's affordable. So that's why the screen quality didn't matter. And then the third thing about it is it must have wireless charging. So basically the employee, again, they don't know much about Samsung itself, because Samsung releases like 40 phones per year. So what they gave me is the things that have to So what they told me is I have to tell them exactly on what I wish my new iPhone could do, So what I told them was definitely all the spoils. Then the size of my phone, obviously, because they don't know anything about it. And the second thing is they recommended me the iPhone 11 Pro. Now this is not, I don't think this is a good decision to switch to a premium phone from this point onwards, because here's the thing, we have a cheaper phone like the iPhone SE, which have a 750p panel. It does have everything that describes size doesn't matter, wireless charging, water resistant. I mean, I didn't mention water resistance, but then we must have a good camera, which the iPhone SE does have. I consider it good is because I have seen really atrocious cameras from phones. So definitely, I mean, the SE is definitely, yeah, this thing is also a fingerprint magnet, which I'll talk about it later, which definitely makes the SE look quite good compared to the competition. So alright, they suggested me the iPhone 11 Pro. I thought they'll give me an iPhone SE to start with, but given to those conditions, I mean, switching to an iPhone 11 is not that reasonable. They could have 11 Pro, sorry. Switching to an iPhone 11 Pro isn't that reasonable. Switching to this, the 11, is a very good reason on why an Android user should switch to an iPhone. This thing is really sweet. And also added to the fact that this phone also does have really good cameras. We have a wide angle and an ultra wide angle with the two flashes right over here. So it's a pretty good deal for a phone. Someone just called me. Hi. Tell you all, this thing, the core quality on this phone is really great. And yeah, it's just, I don't know what to say about the core quality. I mean, you can just call it great or you can just call it atrocious. And another thing y'all can consider of this phone is definitely the camera. I mean, I said this earlier, it's a very good package considering the camera. So due to the fact that I hold over here, I mean, it's an ugly notch. The phone doesn't recognize the touch, so that's one thing you have to know when you are switching from an iPhone 6 or whatever iPhone you're in. So the details are pretty good, so you can tell. I can see what brand this is. I'll probably blur this out, but there you go. Also, doing texting with this phone is really good because of its because of its small bite-sized screen. I call it bite-sized because it's probably really bite-sized. And definitely it is a workable screen. It's not looking like it's an 1080p panel, obviously in some cases, but again, this is a pretty affordable iPhone. I'll guess it is affordable for some people. It's 1000 plus SGD, for goodness sake. But on a serious note, whenever I see this phone going across the streets and everything, seeing them watching videos, doing whatever, I was thinking to myself on why is this a 828p panel. Now this thing is a very crisp, very sharp panel. It can compare with my A30s. Obviously they are two very different price ranges, but here's the thing about this phone. This phone has so much potential, but they still stuck with a freaking 720p panel. 828, don't get me wrong, is really quite good. And also, the second point that I really don't like about this phone is haptic touch. So, the thing about haptic touch on an iPhone is you're supposed to press on the screen to get the feedback, to get this screen. However, they went on to remove that. It's really sad. Rest in peace, 3D touch, you'll be missed. So, what they went ahead and do is, when you long press it, you get it. This is not what I want. I come to switch to an iOS device is because I want to have a very unique thing about the iOS, which is definitely haptic touch, which they went on to remove, which is now just indifferent than Android. Also, the screen itself, coming from an OLED user for years already, I could straight away tell that this thing is an LCD. Now, due to the fact that once it tilted, in front of a camera, I wonder if this phone can pick it. Y'all can see a little bit of a sort of a grayish lighting, especially when everything is put to full brightness. So I'm gonna do here. I don't know if y'all can still see this. Not too sure if y'all can. But here's the thing, guys. LCD doesn't matter as long as it's a good LCD. It's got thick blacks. It's got everything that I needed. Coming from an OLED person, I guess this is a pretty good buy for everybody. And due to the fact that phones nowadays have really big batteries, this thing, I don't call this a big battery. My A30s does have a big battery. It lasts longer, definitely because of the 720p display with a 4000 mAh battery. So right now, as you can tell, browsing through the net, and then we have probably 90%. It's probably gonna go up to 89 in like probably 4 minutes. That's what I tested last time, but it's probably just because I don't have enough time to test the battery. So definitely I don't have enough time to test the battery. And if y'all run out of juice, y'all can either choose to go with the wire way or definitely this. If I can get this right. Wireless charging. Alright, so in the case of iPhones, I feel like definitely the 11 is a good buy, especially when you're coming from a 6. But if you're definitely coming from from the 10 and above, definitely don't go and upgrade. Phones with bezels especially, they are a good choice if you want to upgrade. Overall though, I would rate the iPhone 11 as something that Android users should upgrade but not upgrade in the case. And it's because you are switching from OS to OS, you're switching from Android to iOS, which is not exactly what you probably want and what most people probably want, because switching to iOS is like going back to the jail and you can't do anything else, you are being limited with anything. But coming from an Android user, I would say that this upgrade is tempting, but I'll still keep my A30s. For years to come. Now, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.